way you hold me. By my side, you'll always be. You take each and every day, make it special in some way.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, sorry if I'm not super upbeat in this video. I've had a migraine all day and debated filming this video right now, but I wanted to get it out today, and it's something I really want to talk about that I've been struggling with lately. I struggle with it all the time, really. And I was hoping that I could help some of you guys with it, so it's going to be, I guess, the video is going to be called Anxiety, the Ins and Outs, or the Ins and Outs of Anxiety, but the topic basically is that things that people with anxiety wish that people without anxiety knew about us, or knew to understand us. I have 5 little things here that I'm going to talk about just because these are things that I really would think people who don't know what it's like to have anxiety, if they understood these things, then they would understand us better. But anyways, let's get started. So the first thing is that anxiety is not pretend. I think that people tend to think that, depression and being suicidal are very real, and they are. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not. I'm not discrediting them. But they tend to think that anxiety isn't real, and, oh, well, I have anxiety too before I have to go give a speech or a presentation. Like, it's not the same thing. And I think that people like to downgrade anxiety and say it's not a real disorder when it definitely is. It's very real. It is very... I'm not saying that people don't pretend that it's not real and people don't pretend they have anxiety for attention. Definitely people do that. They pretend to have depression. Like, it's a very real thing to pretend. But also anxiety is very real. GAD is generalized anxiety disorder. A lot of people have it. It's very, very real. And it's really hard to live with. And it's something that you can't just not have it. You can't just be like, oh, you know what? Don't feel anxious today. Oh, thanks. Okay. Like, it's not something that's like when somebody has depression and you're like, don't be sad today. Like, that's not gonna happen because they have depression. It's a very real mental thing. I wish people knew that anxiety is a very real disorder, and it's something that a lot of people struggle with, and it affects our day-to-day life every single minute of every single day of every single hour. We have anxiety. Like, it takes time for us to do things more than normal people. It's not that we can't do anything, but it's a very real thing, and I wish people without anxiety knew that anxiety is a real mental, it's a real mental issue. The second thing is we don't use it to get out of things. I knew that when I was younger, I had severe social anxiety. I would not go in gas stations. I would not order for myself at restaurants. And while I learned the best way for me to handle that was to just push myself and do it, when I was younger, I didn't know that because, number 1, I didn't have any medicine, and number 2, when you're young, you just don't know how to adapt to the settings as much as you do when you're older. So when I would get upset when I was younger and people would say, oh, well, you just don't want to order for yourself at restaurants. You just don't want to go play the soccer game. You don't want to do, like, people would accuse me of doing stuff like that. And we don't do it to get out of stuff. Like, we genuinely have anxiety. It is genuinely hard for us to live with. It makes our heart beat faster. Sometimes it makes us pick like on our skin. Sometimes it makes us bite our fingernails. Like, it is something that is really real and that we live with, and we don't use it to get out of things. That's just who we are, and it's very hard for us to deal with things, some more than the average person. The third thing is that chances are that a lot of people without anxiety think, oh, they're so annoying, and all they want to do is have panic attacks, and all they want to do is freak out and talk about the same thing over and over again. I talk about something I'm anxious about all the time. Will not stop talking about it. I go through these different phases where sometimes I'll talk about it nonstop, and sometimes I won't even bring it up because bringing it up is just too hard. And chances are we annoy ourselves more than we annoy you. And I wish people understood that. Like, people without anxiety, we annoy ourselves too. Like, it's not like we're clueless and oblivious to the fact that we're annoying and talk about anxiety all the time. Like, we know. It's hard for us to live inside, like, I'll get to that later. It's hard for us to live inside our heads, but it is more damaging to us than it is to your ears to hear us talk about it. Like, it's more damaging for us to live with it. And I wish people understood that it's harder for us than it is for you. The fourth thing is that it's hard to live inside of our heads. Like, it is tremendously hard to live inside of my head a lot of the time. And I say that meaning my thoughts will overthink 24/7, and it is hard for me to get out of bed sometimes. Like, that is a genuine statement. It is very hard. And for me, I go through these phases where I'll obsess over something nonstop, and then I'll stop after a few months and obsess over something else. That's an obsessive part of anxiety. Some people don't have it and some people do. I'm a little bit obsessive, and it is very hard for me to not think about certain things 24/7, and then it catapults, It's very hard to live inside of our heads most of the time, and it's not just hard for you to hear it, but it's hard for us to live with it. Like, it's harder on us than it is on you. The fifth thing is that emotions change. I know a lot of people notice that I'll be with them and I'll be happy, I'll be hanging out with my friends, I'll be, carefree, I'll be having fun, and then all of a sudden, I'll start staring into the distance, all weird, and I'll just kind of sit there and not say anything, and I'll be feeling weird, and I'll snap. And part of that is because when you, well, I can't talk. When you have anxiety and you overthink, your feelings change like that. Like, they will be done. Like, you will feel a certain way, and the anxiety kicks in, and you'll feel a totally different way. You won't want anyone around you. You won't want to talk to anyone. And that's a part of anxiety too, just because the anxiety, it changes your emotions all the time. That's the thing that pisses me off the most about it, is that it will change how I feel 24/7. I'll be happy, then I'll be sad, then I'll be confused, then I'll be emotional. Like, anxiety will change how you feel 24/7. I don't want to compare it to bipolar, but it almost feels how you're up and then you're down and then you're up and then you're down. Like, that is exactly what anxiety is. You're up and down all the time, because the anxiety, it'll convince you of something, and then it'll convince you of something else, and then you don't know where you are. Like, it is intense. I just made fists right there. But those are the 5 things I wish people knew, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have anxiety, please let me know in the comments if you guys relate to this. These are just things that I personally experienced that I wish people without anxiety in my life knew, so they can understand us better. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will make more anxiety videos like this if you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!